and you know me, I'm the Secret Garden Girl. Here's Rosie Posy Puddin' Pie, and we're here at Zachary's garden again, and we are so excited. Boy, do we have a treat for you. Are you guys ready? Alrighty, let's go. Okay folks, here we are at Zachary's garden. We're pretty excited. Zach is excited.
Yes,
he's
very
got
excited.
He's got his shirt on, the Secret Garden Girl shirt on. That's pretty exciting. It looks good on him. Okay, so this is a big tote that Zach got, and what we're doing today is a beginner's compost bin. And as you can see, it's just a plastic tote. I don't know where he got it, but it doesn't really... Ace Hardware. Okay, he's drilled some holes on the top. And next, he's going to drill some holes on the side. We already have some holes on the bottom. And we're going to put some holes on the side. And then we're going to catch up in a second. Once he gets that done, we're going to tell you what's next. Okay, back in a sec. Okay folks, so as you can see, Zachary is cutting up some of the greens. We're going to talk about greens and browns. Those are essential for your compost. And your greens, they give you nitrogen, which is really important. And we're using these grassy weeds in here. Zachary's been out of town, so no shame. He's been a very busy young man, and so he hasn't had a chance to get some of the garden sort of cleaned up a little bit. But that's okay in a way, because we're starting his compost, and you need the greens because you need the nitrogen. And then browns, of course, are like leaves and such like that, wood chips, and you know what browns are. We'll add those in. That means you're going to be getting carbon. Now, if your soil, your compost needs phosphorus, then you would add some ash. Okay, onward and upward. Okay, and now he's adding about a half a bag of some good vegetable soil, potting soil. It's organic to get things started. This is your starter base. And then once we do that, we're going to do a layering of browns and greens, and then we've got some kitchen scraps right here. All kinds of good stuff, ginger and tomatoes and just scraps. And you want to make sure when you do this, folks, that you use smaller pieces. If you put a whole zucchini in there, that's kind of gone bad, you don't want to use it anymore. Think about it, if you cut it up, then the worms are going to have a much easier time composting, eating it and breaking it down. Now, we're putting the container here in this area because we want to encourage the worms to go inside and eat the food, make good mulch, leave the castings, and then also when you put them through a fasting stage, which means you stop feeding them with your kitchen scraps right like this, what will happen is they will be encouraged to go look elsewhere, and then they go into your soil, right? And they leave their castings, and then they create a wonderful, there you go, isn't that wonderful? That's awesome. So there's the beginnings. So now you're going to layer a little bit of the kitchen scraps, and then we're going to find some brown, and we'll be right back with you, folks. Okay, folks, so now we're doing our browns, and what I did is I just went underneath the citrus trees, and they dropped their leaves, and Zach is going to do a layer of those. Half of those I would be fine, because we're layering. Good, perfect job. Okay, folks, so now we're layering some more. So on top of the leaves, we did another layer of good mulch. Now, what I want to talk about is when water is essential for this. So moisture, air, you got to feed your compost and add layerings of greens and browns. But people have a tendency to over moisturize their compost, so it's like muddy, and then it begins to smell, and then you have a big problem. So when you want to know if it's moist enough, this is not moist enough because it's not holding together. So when you squeeze it, you want it to hold together, okay? You don't want it to fall apart. So that's your clue. Alrighty. Yeah. Okay folks, so now we've got all of our layering done, as you can see, and then there's the mulch. I shouldn't call it mulch. There's the soil. And as you can see, it's holding together. It's drippy a little bit, which you don't want, but because we just watered it, it's going to seep down to the rest of the layers. We're not going to stir this today. What we're going to do is let it set in the hot sun, because that's what you want, hot, hot, hot. We want this to cook. And then later, I'm going to, later today, hopefully, we're going to pick up some worms for Zachary's garden and for Kathy's garden. And I'll try to do a little video on that as well. Okay, folks, there you have it. He's going to place that against that hot wall, and we're going to let it cook. And we will keep following up so you guys see how this moves along. Okie dokie, we'll be back. Alrighty folks, so like we did in the other video at Kathy's garden, we're sowing some seeds, and as you can see, Zachary went and bought these nice little cardboard little containers, which I just love. And how much were these?
$6 for 50 of them.
Holy mackerel, that's a really good deal. So and then these will decompose right into the garden, so you can just break them apart, put them right into the ground, kind of like what we talked about with the using cardboard egg crate cartons as well. And of course we poked holes in the bottom of these so that they can drain. Drainage is important. And then we'll be back in a second, and we're going to be sowing some seeds, and we're going to do a shout out to a couple of kids that watches our channel. Alrighty, we'll be back in a second. Okay folks, we're back here at Zachary's garden. We're getting ready to sow some seeds, and one of the things that we didn't cover in Kathy's video, I just forgot because there was a lot we were doing, is when you're doing your seeds inside, getting them ready to come outside, takes about 6 to 8 weeks. You want to make sure that you put an oscillating fan on them, because if you don't, their main stalk root, that means, you know, their main stalk is not going to get strong enough, because if they were direct sowing them outside, they're going to be around climate, and they're going to be getting used to moving, which encourages the stalks to get stronger. So if you're going to do this inside your house, which you have to do right now because it's too hot here, if it's over, you don't want your soil to get really more than over 75 or 80 degrees, because then you're going to have a hard time germinating. So in this climate and in these smaller containers, Zachary, smart guy, bought a soil tester. So it also gives you the temperature of your soil. So if you're going to put these in a window, which is what I encourage you to do, make sure that the soil doesn't get too hot. So you're going to have to test them. If it gets too hot, you got to move them away. Keep the fan oscillating on them so that you're getting them ready to be outside. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. We'll be right back. Okay, so what I'm doing is we're just going through and we're poking a little hole, because these only go in about 1/4 inch deep, and we're starting with cayenne peppers. Oh boy, Zachary's daddy likes it spicy. So I brought a lot of spicy peppers. I brought Thai chili peppers, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so you guys get the idea. We're going to poke our little holes into all of these containers, and then we're going to sow some seeds. And really, I don't know if since we have covered this in the last video, we'll do a closing in a little bit. Alrighty folks, talk to you in a sec. Okay folks, so Zachary did an amazing job. Now he's going to take his atomizer, and he's going to spray. There you go. Oh, I'm going to put that on spray.
It doesn't have a spray. I tried it.
Okay.
I could do this.
It doesn't really. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Think outside of the box, folks. So you're going to want to pick up one that's a sprayer, okay?
Yeah.
And then we're going to recap a little bit here, folks. You're going to make sure you use a fan on these on the low setting so that it's oscillating back and forth. And the reason why we do this is to make sure that these guys are getting used to climate. If you directly sowed these into the ground, then they would be experiencing climate outside. If you don't use the fan, they're going to bolt up. People also call it, they become leggy. And what that means is their main stem is too fragile, and they're just going to fall down. And once that happens, you have to say bye-bye to them, put them in the compost. Now he's done a good job. He's labeled them, and he's also put the date on them. Peppers take longer. to germinate up to 30 days and longer. I've actually had them take 45 days, oddly enough, where I've given up and I put the pot in a corner and then I go back and holy cow, they have germinated. So in any event, that's gotten Zachary started. He is going to sit back with his girlfriend. They're going to put on a movie or something, and they're going to sow seeds until they're ready to say, I'm done with this. Okay, folks. Well, this has been fun. I'll be back with you in just a second. We'll do a quick closing, and then off we'll go. Hi folks, okay, this is just a little small recap. We've got Zachary's beginning compost bin started. I'm really excited about that. Kathy and I are going to go to Desert Hills, I believe is what it's called, and we're going to pick up some worms for Zachary's beginning compost. And it's sitting on close to one of his beds, so when he decides to fast the worms, meaning stops feeding them, that encourages them. That means you don't put in kitchen scraps, okay? That encourages them to go searching for food, and that means that they're going to go into the garden beds and they're going to go potty, and that's a good thing, and they're going to reproduce. And then when you want them back into the compost bin, that's when you feed them again, and they'll know, they'll go back in through the holes. Okay, so right now, before we say goodbye, don't forget that greens and browns are important. The greens add nitrogen and the browns give you carbon, and if you find that you need to have a little bit of phosphorus, add some ash from your fireplace. Don't do it from like a briquette's barbecue. No, that's not good for you. Wood ash. Alrighty, and then last but not least, I want to say hello to Noah and to Emma. Emma and Noah are subscribers of ours on YouTube, and their grandma is homeschooling them. And I just want to say hello. Say hello back to me in the comment sections. And if you have any questions for me, kiddos, let me know and I will answer them. And if you have any ideas of what you would like me to do on a next video, let me know as well, and we'll get it planned. Okay, folks. Well, I think this was a lot of fun. Don't you think
yes,
so, Zachary?
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Zachary is doing really great with his garden. I'm really super proud of him. And this is his first garden, folks, so it's pretty amazing what he's doing. Okay, so if you liked this video, make sure you hit a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you know that we have another video coming, and we will see you next time. Alrighty, make sure you get outside and you get out there and garden on. Say bye, Zach.
Bye.
Bye.